Hey guys, welcome back to Beans No Ball, episode 18.
I guess we're getting started. Yeah, Bean Talk episode 18. He's new to this. Obviously, it's a little hard for you to get started, but yeah, Bean Talk episode 18.
He was on one of our first.
He was in the first Sunday chat that we ever did, so I had to get him back on. Obviously,
This is my second feature.
Car is the guy that always has something to send for us to talk to in for the viewers' takes, viewers' questions. It's not always the best stuff that you give us, but he's always giving us stuff to talk about. So,
All right.
obviously, Rams Packers just wrapped up their game last week. We wanted to have you on last week to give a preview, so instead of that, we're gonna do it a little different. We're just gonna actually have us talk about a little post game talk. So, what do you want to talk about the game?
First, I'd like to talk about how much the Packers actually struggled against the Rams' depleted defense. I was expecting a much better game from Jordan Love and the run game.
The first half was just sloppy.
Yeah, it was.
He was still getting more accumulated.
I mean, it was just a one possession. It was a one possession game, but
Yeah, it shouldn't have been that close to begin with.
Well, in large part, it was close because the Rams couldn't finish in the red zone. That's what, obviously I talk about all the time. They can't execute in the red zone. I think, what do we have? We only ended up getting, 2 field goals in that red zone. Then I think a turnover, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, the red zone execution, if it wasn't for that, this would have been possibly a 3-possession game for the Rams. And, sure, like you said, Jordan Love was struggling. The only touchdown that the Packers even got was for their run game, for Josh Jacobs really getting into it. So, like I said, in yesterday's video, Jordan Love really, kind of started getting acclimated little by little into that second half.
Pass TD,
And those two bombs to Tucker Kraft in the second half of the game, which, he was. That's what I'm saying. That second half, we kind of saw him, get
the second half was just all Packers because the defense did what they could. The offense with Stafford getting the ball down the field, the run game with Kyron, it was kind of picking it up a bit, but like you said, they weren't finishing, and that was pretty much just Packers control. Jordan Love was finally getting acclimated with the whole offense there. And like I said it as a joke, January legacy game, he had a pretty good game.
Yeah.
Literally the beginning bomb in the beginning of the game in triple coverage. I don't know what the hell the Rams were doing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was
that play was just a mess. First of all, that pass shouldn't have been thrown at all. It was triple coverage on one guy. Reed just managed to make a spectacular catch, moving through traffic. It was a good play in a bad situation, and fortunately the Rams did not know what they were doing in that play, and
their whole defensive backcourt is just
it's just the whole DB core, obviously, and that's been my
the Rams, their bright spots is their pass rush, but there's times where they
pass rush, and that's the thing that
they don't finish.
And that's been my point.
Everyone there on the line,
mainly Verse, and that's always been my thing. And people love saying he's a rookie. Just give him time. That part of his game's gonna develop. But he's a first round pick. I would have liked to see a lot more out of that
even
specific
the
part.
pick six that Love threw. You know how you kept shitting on Young with that little
tickle monster type tackle.
Yeah.
I mean,
look, it still resulted in a pick.
It got us a touchdown, and a lot of people are saying okay, just get the safety, you get the ball back, and you could possibly end up with 9 points. Which I mean, the way the offense was moving the ball at that point, I don't think so. So luckily, the defense got us the 7 points right off the bat. 6 because we missed the extra point, but. I mean, just overall, it's just little stuff that, if we had a complete team, if the team was playing a little better, these little things would have been able to add up better. But
yeah, and it doesn't help that they have a bunch of injuries and key players missing.
Their online Cup and Puka, they're just going to be out for 2 more.
Well, I think Puka for sure, we're not going to see him until November. And Cup, we're hoping to see him back for the Vikings game. I think for sure he's going to miss the Raiders game.
Yeah, you guys would definitely need him against the Vikings.
It's really just the offense that, you guys have major injuries. The defense is just...
Yeah.
They obviously do got some
changes. And that's what I was saying. Yeah, I mean, it's a parallel I drew with the Dodgers that we talk about.
Don't even remind me about the Dodgers, man.
It's a parallel that I draw because of what is our pitching. It's absolutely depleted, just like our offense, and our defense just sucks, just like our bats right now. So it's just a parallel you can draw there. And I don't know. Apart from that, you wanna get into anything else that we got into?
I mean, just want to close it out. I would still draw concerns for this Packers team, just the way they played against a depleted Rams team, and I would say, with a team with full healthy starters, looking at the schedule, Jordan Love's gonna have to, he's gonna have to bounce back for this and actually play.
Yeah. And my only thing is with Jordan Love, the concerns come with the first half, because in the second half he fully came back into a groove of things, and that's the thing. You know, he was still getting back from that injury.
Aren't gonna cut it.
Yeah.
With the Vikings game, the whole Vikings game, and coming into the first half of this game, you know, you see he was still, you know, he hadn't played since week 1. So now we see how he played in this one. I mean, what do you guys got? The Cardinals next, so obviously that's gonna be a very good matchup for him. Yeah. Definitely expect him to play a little more of a complete game going into that one. But apart from that, what are you getting into NFL commercials?
I get into a little silly segment. You know, I brought up before the video commercials, and we're like, you know what? Let's do a topic. Let's do some what we like and what we hate. Obviously, you know, the one I really love, the Will Ferrell one, just because it's Will Ferrell.
Absolutely. I mean, it gets repetitive to me. That's my only.
But it's funny.
I don't know. Yeah, I like it too.
You're just like, you want to be different, bro. Like, stop.
I don't like it. I got my own taste. I mean, it just seems. I don't like it.
I know Carbs really loves that one.
Yeah, I like Will Ferrell.
I like the Sunday Ticket one.
Yeah, no, that one's cool.
With the mascot ones.
I mean, it's plain, it's simple, but obviously it's a terrible product that they're advertising with Sunday Ticket. But I mean, I like, I guess, the uniqueness that they pulled with that one. I don't know. I guess I feel like a lot of them don't come to mind right now. Well, I mean, that Pepsi one I told you about with Megan Thee Stallion. You guys have your own things about Megan Thee Stallion, but just as an overall commercial,
the color violet green.
I really can't care for that one. How about you? What's a commercial that you've been rocking with that you don't like this year?
I honestly don't even pay attention to commercials. I just scroll through reels in between games. I don't really know any commercials.
All right, guys, this time's up.
Get Lemus in here.
Do not bring Lemus in here. He's gonna start promoting Steeler propaganda, dude.
Well, that Steelers defensive propaganda is something.
Speaking of the Steelers, actually.
Yeah.
Time to open eyes about the Steelers. We'll see what they're gonna do with Justin Fields now, and especially after the Cowboys game where his quarterback play was, you know, a little iffy. Not getting the pass game going.
Yeah.
Especially against, you know, the depleted Cowboys team they had on both sides of the ball. So I think with Justin Fields going along, they already say, look, even if Russell Wilson's fully healthy from his calf injury, he's still gonna remain the emergency quarterback. Justin Fields is still gonna remain the starter there. You know, they had the little concussion scare toward in the third quarter, so Kyle Allen had to come in. That's the drive that, you know, got him the touchdown there. So, but I think as of right now, he is healthy, he's doing good. So Justin Fields, he's gonna be remained as the starter there. But I will draw some concerns to that offense now because, you know, the one thing I mentioned about the Steelers there, what gets them going on offense, sure, yes. Sometimes Justin Fields, he's not that viable in the pass game, but we saw against the Colts when he was down, he was coming back, and that's one thing I mentioned beforehand. You know, I was arguing with some guy on Instagram. Their rushing attack is what kind of gets them going on offense there. That's why they don't really have to pass a lot. You know, Najee can start off a little bit slow, but he picks it up. Cordell Patterson picked it up, but he was injured. Justin Fields on the ground at running back, he picks up the rush game, and that's what a lot of defense can't do. They can't contain them, and then when it comes to the passing, it's right there. But with the Cowboys, they were able to contain the rush game. They were able to hold Najee and Justin to under 50 yards rushing. I think Najee had like 40 something that I mentioned in the preview, and then Justin had, I believe it was like 30 something like that, which was great. And obviously, we saw the game already, the bunch of miscues that the Cowboys had. Could have arguably been a 2-possession game there, but it was a pretty close one there. But with the quarterback situation, Justin Fields, it's going to be a tough thing to see for the Steelers fans. As for their defense, though, not drawing too many concerns there. I
think
still
the only thing that we could talk about offensively for the Steelers, like they've been struggling this whole time, and that's what got them to that 3-0 record. And sure, you know, 2 losses recently that, you know, easily could have been wins when we look at the Colts game and the Cowboys game. But, you know, the struggles offensively haven't really hindered them as much. I mean, they've still performed. I mean, I'm not going to say that it's good. You know, they obviously want to play better, but I don't know. I don't think that concern's really gonna be too much in Justin Fields. And overall, I don't know who else you could really, because realistically, I don't think Russ is gonna do much better. If we're being honest.
Not even Fields to like, sure, yeah, I'm kind of have using him on the scapegoat there, but like his receivers, they gotta like look at Pickens. Like, you gotta stop being a diva. Like, if you're getting locked up, just let it. But like, at least do it. And then the other guys, Van Jefferson. I think it was Van Jefferson, right? I think it's Van Jefferson and Ferguson getting active in the pass game as well. You know, they're helping, right?
Ferguson's probably his best target right now because, in all honesty, Van Jefferson has Ferguson. My mistake.
Fairmouth.
Fairmouth is the one who's really been his best target.
Lieutenant in fantasy too.
He saved
my
you for
boy.
that one.
Yeah, that's my boy.
But yeah, I mean, Jefferson, obviously someone, former Ram, you know, he hasn't been involved as much, and I think he got a little something going in this game, but overall, he really hasn't been much of a factor.
Is this big target there? Because with Pickens, look, I mentioned with Pickens too, look, I have a love-hate relationship with Pickens, just the way he is on the field, like, dude, like come on, like I said it already, look, you got locked up by Gronk, right? And we saw what happened there, but he's gonna have to step it up, and even the other receivers on this team here. I don't know what's the status on Cordell Patterson's injury, whether they're gonna utilize him more as a running back. But if the case has to be where he's gonna have to be put at receiver a little bit more times, then that's gonna be the case there. Because I don't think Van Jefferson's gonna be a huge impact on that receiving core.
One point to make right now: would have been nice to see what this Steelers offense could look like if they didn't get rid of Deontay Johnson.
That is
a good point.
Is very true. I mean, right now as Deontay, you know, he had his little thing in Carolina right now.
Oh, he's looking good.
Yeah, he's stepping up a bit, but still, the Panthers just have their issues there.
Yeah, and they're already talking about they're very much open to trading him if they continue to lose games. Well, obviously wouldn't expect him to go to a team like Pittsburgh. Maybe the Cowboys as some team that you've been talking about that you would like to see a new receiver getting thrown in there. Because it's obviously not going to be Devontae, but a guy like Deontay could.
Well, at least the final for three, because even the way Tolbert had his breakout game against the Steelers, if he's able to, you know,
and that could fill that
up, he could fill out the two gap probably. And you know, Cooks, I'm pretty sure Cooks is going to be gone by next season there, and then Deontay Johnson, I doubt Jerry's going to do it there, but CD, Tolbert, Deontay could be a decent core to kind of load off CD there and get the pass game going there. But when you mentioned that, this Steelers offense could be probably different with Deontay still there. But, you know, with Justin Fields still at QB, like, again, not going to keep bashing on Fields, but he's got to get the pass game open too. But again, the play calling as well, that's got to be obviously been put a little bit issue on there. You know, obviously Fields, of course, he's not always the main guy calling the shots there, but again, you can cherry pick who you want to blame on there, but you know, if the rush game gets going once again, it's gonna be fine for them. But looking at their schedule,
especially going into next week, you know, the Raiders just announced they're gonna be moving on from Minshew onto
O'Connell. So that should be a game for the
defensively. It should look really good for the Steelers.
Defensively, yes, right. With the offense, with the Raiders defense, that's, you know, pretty underrated for the most part. This could be a sign for two, not necessarily for the Steelers, but even for the Raiders as well. But mainly, we want to see how this is going to be, especially in this competitive AFC North.
Yeah, and I think, you know, we're already talking about a couple of these matchups into next week. One big one that I really got an eye on is that Commanders-Ravens matchup, and that obviously we saw the rumblings that NBC really wanted to snag it from CBS for the Sunday nighter with good reason. That's probably the most important matchup.
Quarterbacks coming into play here. I mean, this is going to be
a rookie that people are expecting. You know, should he be in the MVP conversation?
Which, I mean.
Look, right now, I really think it's a little too early to tell. I don't think he has the numbers yet.
Good for offensive rookie? Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah, without a doubt. MVP. I mean, you want to be realistic. I mean, look, if he ends up playing well like this, Commanders end up winning the division. They have a good run, because I know a lot of people now, they want to look at playoffs now when it comes to MVP. You know, I'm not gonna say it's crazy, but you know, if that's the case, then maybe. But again, it's still the first quarter of the season. Just finished this first quarter of the season.
I don't know. From how they're playing right now, I feel the Commanders are doing pretty good, and I feel like they have a chance of making a pretty good run in playoffs. Maybe not going all the way, but I feel like they can get past the first or second round.
Yeah, no, right now, you know, leading a division that, you know, we expect it to be between the Cowboys and the Eagles.
And we see what's going on with the Eagles.
Obviously, both of those teams really struggling. The Commanders really,
they're rising out of the wreckage. Throwing even the Eagles after this, but yeah, I mean, and even the connection with him and with Jaden and Terry, it's great. I mean, they finally clicked after a couple games. B-Rob Jr. in the running game, he's finally getting going, and that rush attacks. It's good. It is really well. I think B-Rob's
and with a sneaky good defense.
Yeah, and their defense, and that's the thing I've said about the Commanders the past couple seasons. Everybody overrates their defense from the past couple years.
But this is something that this offseason, these pickups that they made, the Bobby Wagner, Frankie Louvu, guys like that, I expected them to, you know, not be, you know, world breakers, obviously, but you know, this was going to be better.
Their defense now, it's better than the past couple years, so.
It's solid.
Yeah, it's a very solid defense there. So, you know, from the past couple years, finally the defense is not entirely overrated by everyone else, but it's a sneaky good defense there. But again, I still want to see what's going to do going forward. And I think this Ravens and Commanders game, I think it's going to be, I would say, a statement game for Jaden Daniels, but I think this is going to be to prove against a Ravens team who's really on fire right now.
Yeah, and I mean, we'd be remiss to get out of this video without getting into one important topic about this churro that we got. Why don't we give you an opportunity to just lay out the Bo Nix hate?
I hate him. I hate him. Like I hope
For what?
I just don't like him.
Because he played in Oregon?
He's just one of those guys that you just
He's
don't
already
like,
the second best rookie right now.
I don't know about that.
Oh, wait.
No.
Second best rookie altogether or just quarterbacks?
There's quarterbacks.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
I know there's guys like Neighbors and Brian
that's why I
Thomas
wanted
and all that.
Yeah.
I'm saying quarterbacks. Because he's outplaying Caleb. In my eyes, he's outplaying Caleb.
Caleb
Caleb had one good game. Bo Nix has had a good.
Yeah, two. Watch, look.
I mean, I wouldn't call the Rams game a good game for him.
We'll see. Like, the way. Look. I know you're justifying him for Bo Nix, but, you know, I'm not going to be a stat warrior on this because I was about to pull up the stats between both those guys. But again, I have mentioned it before. Stats don't really show everything there, but who knows? Their defense of the Broncos is kind of helping Bo Nix.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like it's just
kind of helping him.
But is the Bears defense not helping?
It
The
is.
Bears defense is helping Caleb as well.
They have a solid defense over there.
No, just
They do. I don't know. I'm just taking it for face value. I feel like Bo Nix isn't the guy. He's not the guy for Broncos. It's just
Like, why?
I mean, what have you seen so far? Because I mean, we see all these other quarterbacks. I mean, it's year one. How can we say that about anyone just yet?
Because look, if you want to compare the Broncos to the Bears right now, it's the same thing. Their stats are kind of literally identical. Caleb is at 1,000, 5 for 4, touchdown interception ratio, 36 QBR with QBRs overrated.
QBR doesn't mean
and then
shit.
Bo Nix, 866, 3 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. So they're not really that.
And I know the
far
only
apart from
difference
each other.
really is, you know, the yards. Obviously,
Yeah.
he's got like a
But
good
they
200
have
over.
pretty much the same defense.
They have like let's
They have a similar.
I would
defense.
argue
Yeah.
the Bears defense by far
Yeah.
is better than the
Yes.
Broncos.
Yeah.
And Caleb has better weapons than Bo Nix. But the thing is, Bo Nix is making a lot more out of his weapons right now.
Yeah.
That's why I have my argument that Bo's looking a lot better right now.
yeah. I see where you're coming from. Yeah, I feel like I had a lot of expectations for Caleb Williams as well,
Yeah.
and so far he hasn't really been meeting them. I have seen improvement,
No, yeah.
but Bo Nix has been outperforming him. I will admit that. I don't know. I have that gut feeling where I don't feel like Bo Nix is gonna be leading the Broncos anywhere. But I have a feeling for Caleb Williams that he's gonna take them to the playoffs soon.
Well, I mean, yeah, kind
It's-
of the team around Caleb.
Yeah,
was
it's
kind of
just
expected too, but if Bo Nix ends up turning this Broncos team around with what he has, because like their defense is already a big factor why they're even succeeding right now at 3-2. Like, look, they're above 500. I think that's like the bare minimum happiness for Broncos fans right now. But
Yeah.
it's the offense and it, like a guy like Cortland Sutton, which I'm not too familiar still if he's still a trade candidate for the Broncos.
I think at this point he's pretty firm in on the
so yeah,
Broncos right
look,
now. Yeah.
him and Sutton, it's another situation with the quarterback and receiver to get it going. That connection, if that gets going early right now, they could be a sleeper team for the AFC. And I had them as a sleeper team
And
last.
to say, well, we both had the Broncos as a sleeper
Yeah.
team every time we've done this, and obviously it's been terrible looks on us regardless. But I mean, look, right now looking at what this Broncos team has, I mean, sure, the only real one is Cortland Sutton, but
Yeah.
you look at Josh Reynolds has looked like a sneaky good acquisition, and something that we'll look at in the coming weeks. Troy Franklin, a teammate in Oregon, that obviously someone that we were both pretty high on in that draft process. If he starts getting that college connection with Bo Nix, this is going to also be something that down in the regular season could see, him really unlocking more of his game. And now I don't think this year is any time that they could be much of a sleeper. I think this year they're probably going to come back down to earth, probably going to be like a 6-11 type of
No,
team.
that's what I said even about.
But there's a lot of potential there.
That's what I said. Even look, coming back to Caleb's, do I think he's improving? Yes, by far. But I'm just going back to my sec. I still think it's going to take a full season for him and Bo Nix to get adjusted, right? And that's what I thought for a lot of these QBs. That's what I thought about Jaden Daniels. And look at them, they're 4-1. Yeah,
Yeah.
that had a little brain fart right there. But yeah, it's going to be a season, and I think the Bears. I think in Caleb's scenario, he has a higher ceiling just because of the team around him. Bo Nix,
Absolutely.
you look at his weapons, you can make all the excuses you want for him, and then as he keeps getting accumulated with this whole offense and the defense still set with the guys like Pat Surtain still at the leading quarterback spot, that's literally the main factor why they're even in this. It's gonna be a lot to tell for the next couple seasons between these two QBs.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, well, before we close this out, I think we should get some takes on the Lions and the Cowboys game. What do you think is going to go on down in this game?
I'm going to have to say the Lions on this one. I don't know. The Cowboys are coming off of a rough game with the Steelers.
And they're hampered by injury right now.
Exactly.
They are. Do we know how many people are coming back for the Cowboys next week?
Oh, Micah's out.
Micah's still day to day. Micah's still day to day.
Micah's likely out. Though.
Yeah, that's a big
practice window was just open this morning. He may start on Sunday, but I would probably hold him for another game or two just to be cautious. Nealon is on IR. Thankfully, it wasn't an ACL, it's just a meniscus tear. So he's going to be out a couple games there.
Meniscus tear is pretty bad too.
That's what I was about to say.
No. I'm talking about compared to an ACL.
I mean, it's like the
I know what you mean. You're twisting my words. Stop. Okay. I said compared to an ACL. Okay, thank God. Because if it was ACL, he would have been done, right?
Yeah.
Cooks is out for next couple games there. Tyler Guyton, he was out missing the first half.
Still out?
Dexter.
Not Dexter. DeMarcus
is on IR.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
DeMarcus is still out on IR. So, I mean, for the guys that look, from the Steelers game, they were focusing on Micah, right? Then they were focused on Nealon. Nealon went out. So it literally brought the other guys, like our big guys. I think it was Linval Joseph that we acquired in the offseason, and Carl Lawson that we got for the Jets, who we evaluated. They were really stepping up on that front end. And also Digazua, who was another really underrated guy on that one there too. I was about to get him mixed up with Neville Gallimore, but I forgot your Rams picked them up. So thank God I did not butcher that as well. But if they could contain the run game against Montgomery and Gibbs, it's going to be a close game. Doubt it.
Big if.
Doubt it. Yeah. But if it comes to that, then yes, it's going to be a very close game. And when it comes to Lions Cowboys, it's always going to be.
Yeah. Obviously, there's the added animosity from last year's matchup, all the controversy, how that game ended.
Oh, dude,
Look, I mean, you already know. I mean, giving another spoiler here, I'm gonna go with the Lions. I know you're gonna go with the Cowboys. Obviously, gonna roll with them.
Have to.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, regardless, expecting a great game. Obviously, this game is littered with guys on our fantasy, so definitely hoping that they can help us out here. But obviously, close it out with Thursday night. Very good matchup that we're gonna go into. Something I really don't care about. So I'll let you open this up. What's stuff that you're really looking into going into this Niners and Seahawks matchup?
I mean, the Niners are struggling if I'm correct with the injuries as well. They're one of those teams that are just struggling to keep players active and playing in games. It's not looking too good for them. But I don't think that this game is impossible for them to win, especially against the Seahawks. They do have a good defense and a solid offense, but I feel like the 49ers can come up on top of this. It's a pretty good matchup, but I think the 49ers can get away with this, even with all the injuries they have. Brock Purdy's doing really good. The backup for Christian McCaffrey, what's his name?
Jordan Mason.
He's doing really phenomenal.
Really great.
It's an amazing season that he's having right now. Yeah. And the 49ers defense is always going to be really good. That's just what they're known for. It's going to be a good game.
There's obviously some struggles to stuff on that defense. And you still ignoring the fact that everyone's still overlooking Geno Smith there. I mean, in the past game, he could really get to the Designers game. It's gonna be a very close one there,
especially with the weapons he has.
Yeah. I mean, DK's finally making a rhythm for ourselves. The JSN
slowly getting back. Jake Bobo's someone that I'd like to see them use a little more.
Lockett's
always there. He's always there.
He's been balling still, man. A living fossil.
Reliable.
And then Kenneth Walker too. I mean, he had a slow game, but
he had a slow game on the rush attack, but they got to incorporate in the receiving end.
The receiving end, yes,
you got to cancel that out.
If Kenneth can get going against the rush attack against his Niners team, it's obviously going to be a close one there. But if the defense can get to Purdy, this could be Seahawks game. Yeah, and that's the thing I mentioned about Purdy. He's one of those QBs when he's way too under pressure. He's not going to finish. He's literally the Jimmy G 2.0, right? Yeah. But again, I can even have words. He can prove us wrong there, but. I feel it's gonna be another Thursday night game. Not gonna compare it to like the Falcons Bucks, but I feel it's gonna be more of a nail biter.
I think just overall, I mean, two teams, divisional rivals coming off rough losses last week. I think they're just gonna both be coming out playing with a lot of fire, especially on a short week. I think the 49ers are gonna come out on top of this. Looking overall, I think just what I saw from the Seahawks, it's kind of just proving more and more that overall they're not for real this season, and the 49ers. they're fighting back. I know they're struggling. A lot of people are going to just look at this like, you know, they might not be for real either. But you know, I'm slowly getting more. I'm getting more trust in Brock Purdy, and I think he's going to be able to tear up this Seattle defense that, you know, we've kind of been overrating a little bit in the past couple weeks. So I'm going to have to go with the 49ers in this matchup. I don't know if we got any confirmation which one specifically you're going with just yet.
I don't even know. Actually, I don't even know.
Well, you're going to have to. You're going to have to get this one in there.
For the doc, right?
I mean, it's going to have to be
Keep it a surprise.
when it's going to have to come out for the video, though. It's going to have to come out for the video. And by the end of this video, you're going to have to give us a response. But
who are you leaning towards the most?
You got to give us one, Christian.
I'm going to go with the Seahawks on this one.
Okay. Going Seahawks. All right. So,
Seahawks.
the Niners are the away team, and you're covering the Niners part of the parlay. So let's get into the parlay, Christian.
So we got three parlay once again from each. I'm gonna go Jordan Mason over on the rush yards again. Like I said, Jordan Mason, you mentioned it. We've all been mentioning it for the past couple weeks. He's been really filling out the shoes for McCaffrey there. Brock Purdy, I'm gonna go with the under on pass yards there. Still think he's gonna break 200, but going over 250, 253 is 253.5. So I'm still gonna go down there just because, you know, the Seahawks defense is pretty good. And then Ayuk, I'm gonna go with the under. Just when we're looking at Witherspoon, probably going to be on him most of the time. So that's my little 3-point parlay right there.
Yeah. Going into my side for the Seahawks, Geno Smith, he said same thing, 253.5. I'm having going over. I think despite in a loss, you know, he's always a guy to, you know, get a chunky yards. And I think, you know, like we said, you know, the weapons that he has, I think it's definitely gonna bode well for him. Kenneth Walker, obviously he's been on a tear. Last week was a rough game on the rushing side of things, so I think he bounces back. It's a demon pick on this one, over 69.5 yards. I definitely see him getting over into the 70 range. And JSN, they have him at 48.5 yards. I expect him to go over that.
You probably jinxed me.
My mistake. Actually, I've been doing relatively well in the parlays I've been laying down, so you know this might be a good omen for you. But just
hopefully,
overall, this parlay, $20 bet would get you $340, probably mainly because of that demon pick right there. But Christian, I mean, Carbs, what are your thoughts on this parlay?
I didn't set any parlays. I wasn't aware.
Anything that stands out at you?
I think these are pretty solid picks, honestly. I think the only one I'd probably be worried about is the Kenneth Walker one. But I know he's a pretty solid back. He does get a lot of workload over there for the Seahawks. He's bouncing back from an injury. He doesn't look like he's struggling too much, but I feel like it's gonna be a rough one against the 49ers defense. Geno Smith, 253. That was pretty high, but I can see it happening though. I can see it happening for sure. He has the weapons to do it.
I think for me, the only one that really stood out to me was, you know, going under on Purdy. Just a little surprise for me, especially. But hey, you know, you got the Seahawks winning down, so I guess I could see why. But you know, he only says about K9 because he got rid of him in fantasies, and he's just preying on his downfall.
No, I'm not preying on his downfall. I'm happy to see him doing well.
You ended up getting Kyrie from him. So
yeah, I'm not complaining. I don't know. I'm cool with it. It was a good trade.
It was an even trade when it comes down to it. Isaiah likely popped off for me for once.
He pops up once in a while. He's a pretty good pick, wild card. If sometimes. Yeah. It's either a donut or it's like 20 points.
He had like a shit week too.
Yeah, I think every week, but week 1 in the last week. But yeah, I mean, I think that's gonna do it for us. I think that's gonna wrap up episode 18 of Bean Talk. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for obviously welcoming Carbs
Thank you guys for having me
back to the channel. Obviously, it's a pleasure having you back. Hope to have you guys back for the week 6 recap coming in next week.